Hey, it's Richard again. Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for coming to join me. We get very good at managing our time, don't we? When we work in business or when we run businesses, managing time is something that we learn very early on. Most of us, if you go back as far as I do, we had a paper desk diary, and your various suppliers would send you a new one at the start of the year. And I quite miss the paper diary. But with the advent of emails, and particularly emailed meeting invitations, for most of us, all of that moved to become an electronic system. And I know people who still use a paper diary. I'm quite envious of them. Most of us use some sort of electronic tool, be that Outlook or Google Calendar or a combination. So we're very good at managing our work and our obligations as far as the time that we allocate to things, to tasks, to meetings, and so on. Some of us probably use, like I do, applications, an app for managing the lists of things we have to do. But again, that's kind of time based. What am I going to do today, tomorrow, this afternoon? We manage our time. And people generally get pretty good at that. One of the best lessons I ever learned, and this came from a guy who was something of a coach and mentor to me over a number of years, was rather than just managing your time, manage your energy. And when I started to understand what this meant, it was transformative for the way that I work and my ability to get the right things done at the right time. You see, you might start the day with a to-do list of activities that you have to get done that day or you want to get done that day. But your energy changes throughout the day. And what I found through experimentation myself and what others find is your ability to focus on certain types of task changes with your energy through the day. So for example, and this is me personally, first thing in the morning and fairly late in the evening, after sort of dinner time in the evening, and morning from about 6 a.m. If I rarely get up that early, but from about then, I can function up to about 11:30, 12 o'clock. Those are the times that I can focus on high energy tasks. And for me, that means things where I really need to sit and concentrate and focus. So it might be writing, particularly writing, whether I'm writing something for my own work or a report or a proposal, something that requires time, attention, and detail. I need to do that at my high energy times. The other times, just after lunch through to early evening, my energy levels drop. And it isn't really to do with sleep. It isn't really to do with whether I've eaten or not. It's just a natural cycle that I seem to go through. And in the afternoon, if I try to do something that requires a lot of time and attention, like writing, I find it very difficult. All of a sudden, the ability to focus has disappeared. But other tasks that are for me less brain intensive, require less energy, things such as, for me, it's creating. If I've got to design some graphics or put together a presentation or even configure a spreadsheet, to design and configure a spreadsheet, the things that in my line of work you would call creative tasks, those I can do in the afternoon really nicely. Having conversations with people I can do in the afternoon quite well. And so I try and tend to push any calls and meetings that I've got into the afternoon if I can. And that's how it works for me. And the only way that I found that out is through experimentation, through thinking, well, what do I enjoy doing? That's quite a good guide. If you enjoy doing something at a certain time of day, that's generally quite an indication that your energy level is good for that. And you have to be careful not to focus on things that you enjoy doing that are low energy in the times when you're better at those high energy tasks. If I pack in the morning when my energy is high, things like sorting out my email inbox, having lots of conversations with clients and colleagues, I do it very well because my energy is high, but it's time used that I could have spent in the afternoon to do that when I could have spent the high energy time on tasks that were more suited to it. That's kind of how it works. And the only way you find that out for yourself, and the only way your team will find that out for them, is experimentation. You see, we've become used to working in quite a fixed way in the developed world, certainly. And that comes, working 9 o'clock in the morning till 5 o'clock in the evening. Those are the working hours. That's when work gets done. Actually, many of our businesses are creative in nature and they're not linear. And to expect us to do all of our best work packed into that 8 hours and to do any work at any time during that time is a little bit old-fashioned thinking. Back in the days when most people worked in manual work in something like a mill or a mine or a factory, it kind of worked because the owners of the mill, mine or factory knew when their staff would be there, knew when that system would be operational. And the work, although it was incredibly hard, was probably not too mentally taxing. That's a subject, I guess, for another video. Now we're mostly doing knowledge work for a vast majority of us. We need to do that when our minds, when our brains are in the right place to be able to do those tasks. And that requires us to think about managing our energy. Okay, I know it's not an ideal world. And sometimes you will have to have a call with a client, a meeting, when it's a time that you would be better doing something else. Sometimes that's just beyond our control and we just have to accept that. And unfortunately, many of us are not as in control of our calendars as we can be. But if you're a business leader, you're in a position to help your staff with that. You're in a position to change the way that your staff are able to work in order that they can do their best work at the time that it suits who they are and how they function to get those jobs done. So I'll say it again, managing time is very important. We don't have to stop managing time to manage energy. Our time management, our calendar, our to-do lists are very, very important that we don't lose track of things amid the complexity of work. But managing energy is so much more important. And when you put the two together, it's an incredibly powerful conversation, an incredibly powerful, what's the word that I'm after? Combination. I was wondering how I was going to edit that out as I said it, but I'm going to leave it in. What the hell? It's just the liveness and the realness of recording videos without too many notes like this. So, apologies, but I hope that really helped you. I'll be putting out a video probably next week. Do please like, share and subscribe. Go and have a look at my website. That shows you other ways that I help organizations like yours to build a brighter future for all of us. In the meantime, have a great week and I'll speak to you soon. Cheers.